I'm trying to try to see if it'll work. Let me test the mic here. Trying real hard for it to work. But anyway, I am going to play CSI 3 Definitions of Murder on my Elgato software. The software itself, I'm gonna do it. Since this PlayStation 3 is compatible to the PlayStation 2 games, just like the ones I have already. All the PlayStation 2 games I have already inside my panel, updated in the gamer tag panel. You see? Play PS2 format disk. Cursor, then go back to beginners. Interesting.
Hey.
Pictures in examination. I can't really update the channel title and everything using this Elgato software, but I should be able to do it from the past broadcasts.
Welcome to Vegas, the city without clocks. In the casinos, anyway. Here at CSI, time is something we pay close attention to. because the early hours of a murder investigation are key. As our newest crime scene investigator, your credentials are strong.
A dead body. Possible homicide.
Thanks, Kath. Okay, I'm partnering you with Warwick Brown on this case. He'll help show you the ropes. But your own CSI skills are what we're counting on to crack this case. Catherine, I have lab work to get back to. Would you supervise this case?
Whatever you say, man. And as far as the microphone goes, I hope this...
Hey, I'm CSI Work Brown. And if you don't know how to look at something, you won't understand what it means. The Vic's face down. Spatter pattern on the wall close by indicates blunt force trauma. Take a photo of this. It's always good. Too pretty, too young, and way too dead. No wallet, cash, or ID. Could this be a glorified mugging?
Don't know there. Warwick Brown. Warwick Brown, I should say.
Whoa. With a rock like that left behind, I doubt we have a robbery. This was personal.
Looks pretty real to me.
The blood flowed from the head wound and naturally cooled around her. That suggests she bled to death right here. I want you to note the blood spatter here. For a visual pattern like this, you'll want to use the digital camera. Then you can get the blood afterwards. Well, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, we got several thousand here telling us what went down. The Vic was hit at least twice. Pattern in her position relative to it tells us so. The first blow probably caused the puncture wound and sent her to the ground. The second blow, while she was down, created the blood spatter.
No, that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do.
Hey, maybe we just got lucky. That blood print says somebody's shoe picked up transfer. A good idea to be thorough, but nothing's there. good idea to be thorough, but nothing's there. A good idea to be thorough, but nothing's there.
Must be the other statue.
$60 large for an earthbound bird? If art theft was the motivation, why not take the other two birds as well? Nice catch. Whoever bagged our bird may have left that print.
Looks like people love birds.
This is the Nathan Ackerman Fine Art Studio, and I am Nathan Ackerman. My art, displaying the creativity and, on occasion, the genius of my exhibitors, in a setting that is itself a work of art.
Do you mind if we ask you a few questions?
Please do. Consider me your host and ally. Don't hesitate to ask if I can help you resolve this affair quickly and cleanly.
I'll see what we can do. But Mr. Ackerman, there's nothing clean about murder.
I was out briefly on an errand, and to my devastation, I discovered a client, Rachel Maddox, dead on my gallery floor. You must understand that this is a crushing blow. Rachel was an excellent client and a dear friend. I can't imagine who would do such a thing. Perhaps a vagrant or one of these psychopathic killers you read so much about? Rachel was about to be a bride. She had commissioned a painting and a sculpture, both of herself, for her wedding from one of my best artists. Unfortunately, he can also be one of my slowest artists, and Rachel and her fiancé were, well, let's say, fit to be tied that the art pieces, which were due some time ago, were not ready. I had an emergency overnight artwork delivery to ship. I needed to leave by 5 p.m., but Rachel was adamant we had to wait for the artist to come. I really shouldn't have left the two of them alone in the gallery, but they were respectable clients. Anyway, Rachel refused to leave. She said she was staying put just in case. I believe her words were, "Irresponsible ass of an artist does me the supreme favor of showing up." So that's how I came to leave the two of them here, and I had intended to be back before we closed at 6. As it was 6:10 before I returned, and found the door wide open, and Rachel in this terrible posture. As for her fiancé, he was nowhere to be seen. This is the most ghastly thing that has ever happened at the Nathan Ackerman Fine Art Studio. What kind of mad beast are we dealing with here? Patrick Milton. Many of the works in this showroom are in fact his. He's not a critical darling, considered by some too commercial. But the public loves him, and as long as they do, so do I. Ah, that was the spark that lit the fuse of the argument between Rachel and Mark. The artist had vowed to be here with the finished painting and sculpture first thing this morning, but he didn't show up at all. Not the first time, and Rachel flew into a rage when he did not appear. Heavens, our association goes back years, almost a decade. Quite frankly, he's the star here. I've displayed and sold hundreds of his works. I could have sold more, but he misses so many deadlines. No matter how hard I've tried to breathe professionalism into his artist's soul, I failed. Still, it does sell. Ridiculous as it might seem, no. I have never once, in all the years of our very successful association, even seen his studio. As I say, he's quirky, private to the point of reclusiveness. Oh, but of course I have a phone number and a P.O. box. He wants his checks, after all.
That'll be enough to track him. Thanks, Mr. Ackerman.
I can't even see it. Well, I can see the number, I can't really see the P.O. box. Oh well.
Her fiancé is one Mark Stock, a taciturn fellow with a physique worthy of a Greek sculpture and just about as talkative. Frankly, he has the personality of a doorstop and the artistic taste of a hillbilly. Forgive my candor. The man does have his admirers. He's an ex-baseball player of some kind, from the minor leagues, I believe. As I said, he was here with Rachel when I left, but when I returned, she was alone. Undead. Yes, they were having an argument about the art, which was unusual as Mr. Stock had never expressed an opinion from the beginning. Now he was making a stand. He said it was foolish to make such a fuss, and the wedding could easily go on without these silly pieces. But Rachel wasn't having any of that. In Mr. Stock's words, he can sound rather shrill for such a strapping specimen of masculinity. He said Rachel had become unreasonable and out of control over the artist not showing up. And, well, honestly, he had a point. She did have that side to her. Understand, I was very fond of Rachel, but frankly, some of the invective she hurled was directed not just at her fiancé, but, if you can imagine, at me. Fortunately, a truce between the betrothed had come to pass before I had to leave. They were even, shall we say, affectionate. I felt comfortable enough leaving them alone. The storm had blown over, and they were like lovebirds again. To me, Mark Stock would be an enigma if he had a higher IQ. During their tiff, he seemed cold, emotionless. He's one of those passive-aggressive types who occasionally erupt, but in a strange, distant way, unleashing a torrent of abusive language, but delivering that invective in a controlled, cruel manner, seemingly devoid of any feeling. They visit Vegas frequently, weekend getaways, on which they invariably stop by my gallery to do business. Rachel did so love art. What was the question? No, I have no address. They flew in for their wedding, and I have no idea at which hotel, though it will certainly be one of the pricier ones. Oh, I can tell you it's a disaster. That's one of our most valuable pieces. Hawks are a specialty of Mr. Milton's, and that's a signature work. Any Milton collector would kill to... excuse me, that was an unfortunate burst of hyperbole, but I can say with no exaggeration at all that the Perch Predator is an expensive item indeed, and I'll be calling my insurance agent as soon as we're done here.
Do you have a photo of that missing statue?
Standard operating procedure in the arcade. I'll be glad to get it for you, though I'd appreciate its eventual return. Insurance, you know. Be my guest.
Try something else, similar.
No, I didn't want to use the same one.
My fingerprints are all over this gallery, both literally and figuratively. As I said, I intend to cooperate fully. My life is an open book. No, I'm sorry, no.
What happened to full cooperation? Your life an open book?
My life is an open book, that I pledge to you. But I can't allow this door to be opened. I may seem inconsistent, but there are many expensive, even priceless objects dark back there, and I cannot risk damage. Particularly when I see no relevance to your investigation, since it's been locked throughout this entire unfortunate affair. I'm sorry, unless you have a warrant, I just can't allow you to go flinging your fingerprint powder around and spritzing your various sprays.
That should be enough to help. Let's see, how am I supposed to do that again with the... Oh, there we go. Wrong one. There we go.
Sure, I'll send a team right out. Blunt force trauma, back of the head. Wound's interesting, in a regular shape, somewhat triangular. It's the murder weapon's signature. Here's something you might find interesting. A small piece of foreign fibrous material. Definitely not skull. The fragment I found appears similar in color to the photograph, so the bird's bill might be consistent with the wound. But without the real thing, it's just a guess. Well, based on the victim's liver temperature, dead less than 2 hours. Under ideal conditions, the body cools 2 degrees the first hour, then 1 degree after that. So we can put it around 5:30 p.m. Way ahead of you. Taking fingerprints off a victim's body is part of my routine. Here you are. Toxicology tests show high concentrations of diazepam, a benzodiazepine commonly prescribed for anxiety disorders. Well, it's not entirely unusual, but your prospective bride already had a honeymoon. Semen in the vaginal canal. No forced entry, presumably consensual sex. I've got a sample for you. Of course. Glad to have your perspective.
That's no human hair. It's too thick. Some kind of animal, maybe.
Well, this is the first time I started playing with the PlayStation 2 games on the PlayStation 3. Let's see.
We've done all we can with that item.
Thank you.
Those two aren't quite a match. Try to be more sure before you ask me for confirmation. It's all about the details. You got a match, but matching against an unknown doesn't get us anywhere. Always try to match known samples to unknowns. Wall spatter matches the Vic's blood. It's a start. Links her to the crime scene. That should go on the trace analysis computer. We've done all we can with that item. We've done all we can with that item. We'll need to check with Brass about this first. That should go on the trace analysis computer. We've done all we can with that item. We've done all we can with that item. We've done all we can with that item. Now this should work in the comparison microscope. This verifies Ackerman stepped in the victim's blood. Those two aren't quite a match. Try to be more sure before you ask me for confirmation. It's all about the details. The prints on the pedestal are Ackerman's. It's no surprise. It's his gallery. Of course, he's still a suspect.
Everything seems to be red tagged. And note with brass be red tags too. So there's still the hair. And comparing other blood samples with other ones. Hey, brass.
So you think that hawk sculpture might be the murder weapon, huh? I'll get my boys to start searching for it immediately. Check back later. Well, I can have a unit hit the hotels with cold calls. It'll take a while, but as long as our lovebirds were registered under their real names, we'll find them. Our friendly neighborhood art dealer opened the gallery 12 years ago, and his record's clean. I found some online reviews saying Ackerman is an overcharging, tasteless fraud. But hey, that's no crime. Even a self-proclaimed genius like Patrick Milton can't escape the electric company. And we got his address from their bill. Here you go.
Thank you. Oh, excuse me. Well, if I'm able to use the mic and stream on 480p, well, there ain't gonna be no camera.
And if I am?
Las Vegas Crime Lab. Murder investigation. Are you Patrick Milton?
Yes, all right, yes. I'm Patrick Milton, but I don't know anything about a murder, you say?
Yes, sir. We have a few questions. You mind?
You better make yourself clear about how this supposedly involves me, because I'm on a deadline. I'm an artist on commission here, and I have a painting to finish, and I'm trying to grab a window of solitude while these damn construction workers are on break or whatever they're doing. My God, the noise lately here. What? Which commissioner? You don't mean Rachel? You don't mean Rachel Maddox, do you? It's not possible. There's no one on the planet more alive than Rachel. How did it happen?
Blunt force trauma, Mr. Milton. The murder weapon may have been a statue, possibly one of yours. The perched predator is missing from the gallery.
My lord, no. The hours, the months that went into that? Was it stolen? Please tell me it wasn't destroyed. It's one of my most valuable works. Well, right here, of course. I mean, I practically live in this studio. The demands on me as an artist are unceasing. Haven't you talked to my patron, the esteemed Nathan Ackerman? He called me and tore me a new one, and I decided the best thing to do was to stay home and get this painting and sculpture completed before Rachel's wedding day. I've been bunkered in here slaving ever since. My intention was to deliver everything tomorrow, right before the wedding. I couldn't see wasting time dealing with Rachel. There was a lot to admire about her spirit, her intelligence, but she was frankly the worst-tempered woman I ever met. The most difficult client I ever encountered. I figured the less contact with her, the better.
You know, yeah, it's Monday night, so it's Monday Night Raw that I can still watch through the DVR. Oh, dumb audio. But you see the words, though. You can see the text going.
Actually, yes. The Maddox Stocks wedding commission is only part of what I have on my plate. I've been battling headaches and back problems with all this horrendous construction racket going on, starting at 7 a.m., including weekends. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to concentrate? Well, it began cordially enough. She was a big admirer of my work, owned a number of my bird and animal sculptures. She approached me to do these special paintings to be displayed at her wedding reception. And I told her I rarely did the human form. I'm a nature artist, you see, and I have a knack for just slightly idealizing reality. Well, she did have her charming side, you know, and she said, well, I'm one of nature's best works of art. Are you up to capturing me? How can I turn her down? And the money wasn't bad either. And as I say, I would have delivered the painting and sculpture on time. Nick of time, but on time. Right at the reception ballroom. I'm almost done now.
Did you contact Rachel or Ackerman to tell them about this change of plans?
No. And before you condemn me as rude and egocentric, let me just say, you never had a deal with Rachel Maddox. You have no idea the hoops she made me jump through. Sounds unkind now that she's dead, but really, I wanted to keep her waiting. Let her, no other way of saying this, suffer a little, like I had. Let her squirm and stew. But my lord, I would never wish anything like this upon her. In a word, rocky. She was a lovely girl, but rich and spoiled. At the beginning, she posed live for me. She was so demanding. Kept leaving her modeling pedestal to see what I was doing. Literally look over my shoulder. That, oh hell, that was just maddening. Finally, I just banished her from my studio. I'd already taken photographs of her in the desired pose, and these were sufficient reference. And photos don't talk back, nag, or interfere with the artistic process in any way. Well, from my point of view, it was entirely unprofessional and even hostile. I deserve better from someone I worked with for so long. You have no concept how much money I've made for Nathan Ackerman. But at least I didn't get caught up in a screaming match. I let the answering machine get it. He wanted me to drop everything and get over to the gallery. It was pretty clear from how frazzled he sounded. He had his own generous serving of Rachel Maddox at her worst.
So you're telling me you didn't drop by to set Ackerman and your client straight?
Hell no. Nathan I could handle. But as overworked as I am, dealing directly with Rachel Maddox, I didn't need that grief. Well, frankly, my intention was to avoid seeing her at all. She'd be at the wedding, and I'd be at the reception ballroom dropping off the art. Call me a coward, but you people never saw Rachel in full flaming bitch mode. I guess you could take it. I live and work alone. But you already know I had no reason to leave until this artwork was finished. Haven't you been listening?
If that's the truth, then why would you want to do anything bad then?
Padre, are you there? No, you're there. Speak up. Sorry, Padre. It's unprofessionalism at its peak. Get down here with that painting and statue ASAP. And if they're not done, you come deal with Rachel Maddox. She's climbing the walls, not to mention my ass. Take half an hour and put some finishing touches on and bring that blasted art. We need her kind of payment today to cover up. She's going to just get down here. This week she's finding new depths of unpleasantness and we have to calm her down. Somehow. And Patrick, if you're not here within the hour, my next call will be to my attorney to instruct him to sue you if they're physically irresponsible as. Understood?
Wow. Doesn't sound much like the host and ally we know. Sounds like Ackerman was on the edge.
You can say that again. What do you have to say for yourself, Ackerman?
I'm sorry, unless you have a warrant, I just can't allow you to go flinging your fingerprint powder around and spritzing your various sprays. Goodness, I don't know. Perhaps I stepped in it when I found her. I'm sure that must be it. I just don't remember that clearly. It's all a jumble. Why wouldn't it be? I'm a hands-on gallery owner. And as it happens, I showed that very piece earlier today to a prospective buyer. Wasn't anyone else's fingerprint on there?
No, just you, Mr. Ackerman. But that doesn't prove you took your own statue. Just that you touched that pedestal.
I wouldn't call it a threat. Patrick was well aware we had a client who was high-strung, and that if that artwork was late, there would be hell to pay. Well, why should I pay it? You know that any business suffers occasional cash flow problems, but really, mentioning I might sue him was my way of lighting a fire under Patrick. He is a fussy perfectionist, and I know he could finish up that painting and even the sculpture by deadline if he just got on with it.
Once you got enough evidence, I'll hit up a judge. I've got nothing new to report on the Vic.
Interesting. At least I made it this far. Not even sure how long I've been streaming, but don't even know how far I've gotten either on the time. went to the restroom, put on voice, but nothing happens to the stream for that. I hope everything goes as planned doing so. At least that it doesn't show that I was playing the Sega Genesis like it was before. So I had to change that, and I thought I did when I went to the Elgato software and added the stream title, game title, but it still stayed with the game title with Sega Genesis Classics, and it changed the stream title, and that was just about it. Nothing else. Stop it and continue on after I get done watching Monday Night Raw, because it's already almost going to be over on its live. It's been going live since 7, and it's almost over. But I'll be able to watch it on Monday night. So far it's been good progress. So I wonder where else I need to go and how I'm supposed to get Grass to give me the hotel room. Rachel, stay there. He's supposed to give me that by now. Pretty much did everything where he's supposed to give me that. But he gave me Cadrick's studio. He hasn't gave me the hotel room where Rachel was staying. Something else I need to do with the blood samples. With the other things I need to do with the blood samples other than the one I found matching. I wonder if the blood samples is what's stopping me from progressing farther. The reason why Grass is not giving me the hotel room like he's supposed to. So let's see why he won't give it to me. Let's see why he won't give me the hotel room location.
Those two aren't quite a match. Try to be more sure before you ask me for confirmation. It's all about the details. Those two aren't quite... Those... Those two... Those... Those...
Let's talk to Patrick again. See if he'll give me more information than what he gave me.
Hey, do you need a hint?
Not from you.
Hey, do you need a hint?
Get away from me, Brown.
Suppose there's no way of avoiding this, and why I should want to protect that son of a bitch Ackerman I'll never know. Call it misguided loyalty, but anyway, financial problems is an understatement. He owes me thousands, and over these past 6 months or so, he's come up with some, shall we say, unconventional ways of reimbursing me when cash wasn't handy. Well, he offered me his second car, a big screen television from his former rec room, any number of nice, but honestly second-hand items. I took a few of these offers just to help out, but Nathan's still into me for, well, let's just say the notion of him suing me is amusing. I know he often accepts cash payments from clients, for reasons you could probably guess, detectives that you are. If not, ask the IRS. Sometimes he's had enough cash in that safe of his to paper those gallery walls.
What safe are you talking about?
Oh, it's in his back office / stock room. Keeps documents, sales records, and so on in there, I believe.
Well, with cash in that safe, maybe you broke in to claim it was yours. And Rachel Maddox just happened to be there, after hours. The very person you wanted to avoid.
Ridiculous! That's slander!
So sue me.
Thank you for that information.
I'll hit up a judge.
Oh, you bastard. Come on already. What about Nathan? What does Nathan have to say? I guess he doesn't have anything to say. What about you, Doc?
I don't have anything for you right now.
This is a testimony.
We've done all we can with that item.
Maybe there's something to do with the hair, but what?
Those... Those... We've done all we can with that item.
Might have to put this on hold until I can figure out how to get him to give me the hotel room location, because I actually got the testimony now, but still that doesn't help.
Once you've got enough evidence, I'll hit up a judge.
That way I know that this is where I left off, just in case if anything were to happen to my police station. If anything were to happen to it, this is where I left off, where I don't have to do it all over again. But